if I can just concentrate on the boxing mostly, if that's okay with you, because
Sure, no problem.
you look at your record, there's so many names on there. You still there?
My boxing career was quite interesting because when I started, I was 16 and up, and they took a physical of me when I was going to get a physical for one of my fights, and they discovered that I had a disease called acromegaly, which is a tumor of the pituitary gland.
Right.
And they thought I should never fight again.
Wow.
And I said, I don't think so. That's my day job. So, you know, they couldn't believe how I could get in the ring because it caused such depression in people.
Right.
And it's like your body pumps out 10% growth hormone. Mine was pumping out 150% growth. So it saps your body. You know what I mean?
Right. So was this diagnosed in the mid-60s or late 60s?
Yeah, and then it was diagnosed in the early late 60s. Yeah, I started boxing in 66, and I think it was around 68 or so when they diagnosed me with this thing.
Wow.
They told me that I shouldn't box anymore.
So
I was fighting like every month.
Yeah.
You know, I had on my record. That's not on my record. Is that they used to run like smoker fights up in New England. Sam Silverman and Rip Valenti were big promoters up there, boxing promoters.
All right. Yeah.
They had clubs all over the place. They had clubs in New Hampshire, in Vermont, in Maine, and Mass, different parts of Mass. And every week they were running fights everywhere.
Right.
So we used to get in a car and drive to different places. And when I get there, they'd say, Jack, do you have your shoes in your cup in the car? Because they needed a bout, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd say, well, you know, I'm not supposed to do that by management. Well, we'll fight you under a different name.
All right. So
I had like 25 knockouts that just never were registered.
Right, and were these any kind of names you remember looking back? Are these fighters you knocked out?
A few of them that were up and coming fighters that went on to become pretty prominent fighters. And I fought a guy in Boston. Timmy, what the hell was his name? He was a pretty good fighter. He dropped Frazier all the time. He used to spar with Frazier.
Oh, right.
I dropped Frazier all the time.
I should know his name then.
I think it was around my 10th or 12th fight. I beat him in Boston. I never lost a fight in Boston.
Right. Yeah, as I was saying before, sir, you know, you're looking at your record on BoxRec, obviously, you know, what's available, because you said there you've had other fights that weren't recorded, but so many good names that you went in with. I guess one of your best wins, it's coming up 50-year anniversary.
It's like when I fought Bugner. I fought Bugner in London.
Yeah.
At Albert Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey Duff show.
Yeah.
And it was a 10-round fight supposedly. And I beat Bugner badly. And at the end of the 8th round, they stopped the fight. I said, no, it's only an 8th because he could hardly stand up.
Right.
And they gave him a quarter of a point decision, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
People went ballistic. They put it on the front page of the Daily Mail the next day. Bugner wins by a quarter of a point.
That's
unheard
amazing.
of. It was unheard of.
That's outrageous, if anything. So you beat him from pillar to post, and then they cut it short, and then they still robbed you. That's just disgusting.
Well, it was a great. And then Harry Gibbs was the referee.
Oh, the
famous referee, right?
Yeah, he was.
So when I fought, I think it was McAlinden.
Yeah, you beat him.
McAlinden. I think it was McAlinden. When I fought McAlinden, no, Carl Gizzy. When I fought Carl Gizzy, who was the champ of Wales.
Oh, the Welsh guy, yeah.
I fought him in the Grosvenor House, and I beat him hands down.
Yeah.
And Gibbs said to me after the fight, you see, we don't cheat you all the time.
Is that you actually said that? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing. Like you said there, you never lost in Boston, but did you really love fighting in the UK? Did you like it there best? You know, apart from getting robbed.
In the UK, the Glover House, I beat Danny McElinden. I beat Carl Gizzy. I lost a fight to what's his name, Chuck Bodell.
Bodell, yeah.
Which was a fluke. He caught me a shot, and they stopped the fight right away.
Yeah.
Which really pissed me off because I walked into a punch, no doubt about that. But I was kidding. I got up off the floor, and they stopped the fight right away.
Right.
Because I was beating them up to that point.
Yeah, and you had a lot of fights in '71, and I guess I'd love to get your memories of it. A great win for you because he was a hell of a fighter. You beat him in September '71, Cleveland Williams.
Cleveland was that's a funny story. They called me on the phone. I was in New Jersey, and they called me on the phone to fight Terry Daniels.
Right, who fought Frazier?
He said the guy, Louis Scuzzi was the promoter. He called me up. He said, "Would you take a fight with Terry Daniels in Houston, Texas?" I said, "Send me a ticket." He said, "You'll take the fight?" I said, "Send me a ticket." So I went down, and they were looking for a white guy to fight Frazier.
Right.
At the Houston Astrodome. So I went down, and I thought that when I got down to Houston, and they came and got me off the plane, because Scuzzi said, "My God, you're in terrific shape." I said, "Aren't you supposed to be in shape when you come to a fight?"
Yeah.
So I destroyed Terry Daniels. I knocked him out in the third round. They should have stopped the fight in the second round, but they kept it. The kid always had a reputation for coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tough guy.
So in the third round, I planted him from one corner to the next. Hit him a left hook, and he never got up. And he was there for about a half an hour.
Wow.
I thought I killed him. Shit.
Wow.
So I'm going back on the plane to Philadelphia with Yank Durham, and he said to me, "If you fight one more good fighter, you can have the Frazier fight." But I said, "You name the place in the fight and send me a ticket." He said, "You kidding me?" I said, "No. You name the fighter, whoever you feel I should fight, and send me a ticket." So a couple of weeks later, they called me on the phone. They said, "You're fighting Cleveland Williams." I said, "Fine, send me a ticket." So I went down and I stayed in shape. I was sitting in my house because we had a lot of union problems, and I couldn't get out and about, so I was trained every day. And I went down to fight Cleveland Williams, and I beat Cleveland hands down.
Yeah.
And in fact, the 7th, 8th, and 9th round, every time I hit him a combination, he started to fall. I'd grab him up the elbows and pick him up and say, "Don't stop dancing with me now, son. We've been dancing all night."
Yeah.
I liked him. Cleveland was a good guy, but I'll tell you, he hit me harder than anybody ever hit me in my career.
I actually
Thank God I'm in shape.
I actually saw an interview with you with yourself, sir. I can't remember where I read it. I either read it or heard it, and I think you did actually say no other human being ever hit you as hard as Cleveland Williams because he caught you with a right hand. I think in the interview you said, but you shook it off and like you say you beat him hands down, and that was so it's amazing to think. You look at fighters nowadays; they fight once a year. Maybe.
Well, what happened after that fight? Terry Daniels got the Frazier fight, and Cleveland Williams fought George Chuvalo on the same card. No one would fight me when they saw me in that kind of shape.
Yeah. It's just amazing. You fought Terry Daniels, and then 3 weeks later you fight Cleveland Williams, and then a month later you fight Ron Lyle, and it's just unheard of nowadays. I don't know if you still follow the heavyweights nowadays. It's hard.
I follow them all. I know exactly.
It's kind of watered
down. When I got done boxing, when I got finished boxing, I took a young man by the name of Frankie Lyles, and I made him super middleweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
And that's where Freddie Rooks got his start. I put the corner together, and Freddie came in the corner with me.
Yeah.
Freddie was living in Mickey Rourke's gym at the time.
Yeah, it's an amazing. That's because you had all those contacts and you could do things. But Frankie Lyles, he was great. Did he beat Michael Nunn? I think he beat Michael Nunn, didn't he?
He beat Michael Nunn. Frankie Lyles, we went right down the list of top contenders for super middleweight division, and we just banged them all out. Beat Cellier from France. He beat Michael Nunn. He beat the guy from South America.
He was a hell of a fighter.
A lot of people. Frankie could fight.
Yeah. I guess you get asked this all the time, though, Mr. O'Halloran. You fought all these guys.
Please.
Jack, thank you, sir. Jack. Because, you know this without me telling you, but, you fought George Foreman, you fought Ken Norton, you fought Cleveland Williams, all them guys. As a big, strong guy yourself, who was the physically strongest guy? Is there anybody you couldn't push around and bully and manhandle? Was it maybe George? I don't know. As strong as you were.
No, I never had a problem. The only guy that ever cut me was Gizzy.
Right.
Gizzy was a hell of a boxer. He had a pretty good job. He nicked my one eye. The only cut I ever got.
Right.
And when I fought Norton, I gave Norton a terrible beat. God damn, it was and I took that fight on a week's notice. They called me up, they had a fight, and then somebody dropped down, and they called me, they said, will you fight Kenny Norton? And I said, yeah, send me a ticket. The guy said, you'll take the fight? I said, send me a ticket.
Yeah.
So I went out to San Diego, because we had a lot of problems on the East Coast, people looking to put us in, incarcerate us and shit, and so I went to San Diego, and I gave Norton such a lick, and I won the town. They took a hometown decision. In fact, I could have sat on a stool in the 9th round because we were standing toe to toe. I had him cut over both eyes, and the referee, the people were standing on their chairs screaming, and they rang the bell. Nobody heard us. They rang the bell 3 times before the referee came and separated us. And when I was going back to the corner, he ran across the ring and hit me behind the head and drove me into the ring post.
Yeah.
And the commissioner was sitting right there and jumped up. He said, if you can't continue, you just won the fight on a foul. And I said, foul? I'm going to kill. I was still dumbass thing for me to say. So I'll come kill it. Are you crazy? I'll kill this bastard. And I went out for the 10th round, and that dawned on me. I said, what are you, nuts? I'm sitting in his hometown. He's owned by 2 billionaires. They're trying to get him a title fight. And I think I'm going to steal a decision here. Ain't happening.
Well,
I won the city, and he would never fight me again.
So that was your instinct as a fighter. You could have taken the technical victory, but you chose not to, because you were that steamed because he'd fouled you. Yeah.
I don't want to win on a technicality like that.
I guess.
But then I knocked out a half dozen people, and I fought Henry Clark for the state title. Nobody wanted to fight Henry Clark at that time. He was a pretty good fighter.
Slick guy, yeah. I've seen he fought Shavers.
I took the state title off of him. Henry was a nice kid. I liked him.
Yeah.
He was a good fighter. Henry could fight.
Yeah, he was an Ali lookalike, wasn't he? Am I thinking of the right guy? I think he was like an Ali lookalike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
Very slick.
Yeah. Slick, good-looking kid. He was a pretty good fighter.
Did you fight him twice?
Fought him twice. First time they stole the decision, and they knew they did.
Yeah.
So it was a 10-round fight. So I said, you know what? Let's come back and fight for my title, for his title, so let's fight a 12-round fight for his title. And I gave him a terrible beat. I beat him really, really, really bad.
And
I don't think he fought much after that.
No. And I know you retired Ali's brother as well. That's quite a famous
story. Ali,
quite a famous story, that, Jack. Yeah, you give him such a beating, he never fought again.
Never fought again. Ali called me on the phone and said, he and I were friends. We were supposed to fight. When he fought Norton, he was supposed to fight me.
Well,
he had already made a deal.
Right.
Norton's people went to Chicago with $3 million and gave it to Herbert Muhammad. And Norton got the Ali fight, and I started pushing brooms. So anyway, Ali called me on the phone. He said, you got to do me a favor. And I said, I'll do you a favor. I said, sign a contract to fight me. He said, we'll work that out. But you got to do me this favor. I said, what favor? He said, you're fighting my brother Rockman, and you got to get him out of boxing. said, what? Rockman Ali's your brother? He said, yeah. I said, oh, shit, I better go in the gym and train a couple days.
Oh, yeah.
But I hit in the ninth round. I hit him a shot. Oh my God, he was out. I thought I heard him too. He was out for a long time. I went back in the dressing room to see him because he was a real Muslim. I went back to see him in the dressing room, and he said there, he said, "My God, you hit hard." He said, "God, what do you know about God? You're a Muslim."
Wow. So you're the only guy that knocked him out, and of course, as he never fought again. But why did Muhammad Ali want him out of boxing? And because what was it? He didn't want his brother to fight.
He wasn't as talented as Ali, was he?
No. He just wanted his brother not to get hurt, or what? What was it? He wanted him out.
I don't know. I guess a combination of things.
Yeah.
Well, he said that do me a favor and end his boxing career.
Right.
So I did.
Yeah. It's so amazing how history goes down a certain road, because as you know, Chuck Wepner fought Ali, and he was like, the real life Rocky. If you'd have fought Ali, who knows what would have happened? I know there's obviously
I'll tell you a funny story. First of all, the Rocky story was my life. I was the gangster fighter in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I did a picture called Farewell My Lovely that Stallone did a small part in. And he was out in California, and he was talking about writing a boxing script. He picked my brain every day.
Right.
He'd never been to Philadelphia. He didn't know shit about Philly. I told him about the waterfront and all the other stuff. That's beside the point. And I had signed to fight Ali. I was fighting in 69, I think it was 1969. And they called me up. I went to South Africa to fight a kid, Jimmy Richards, who was a promising heavyweight in South Africa. And I stayed down there for like a month. I really got in great shape down there. And I beat this kid easy, but they called it a draw, I think. And I was really tickled by it. They were mad because they wanted me to stay there. And I said, no, I can't do that. I got to leave. They wanted me to stay and box out of, because they figured I could fight for the title out of South Africa. And 11 days later, I fought Manuel Ramos in L.A.
Oh, the Mexican, yeah.
Yeah, he was ranked 2 in the world. They were looking to make a title fight with him and Ali. But it was 11 days after I fought Richards. I flew home from Africa, got on a plane in Jersey, went back to L.A. And I got to L.A. and George Panassa said, "My God, you're in great shape." I said, "Not only that, I'm going to knock this clown out tonight." "Oh my God, you can't do that," he said. I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Oh, no, he's going to fight Muhammad Ali." I said, "Really? Well, guess what?" And I think I was the only one who knocked him out. I knocked him out in the 7th round.
Yeah.
And then no one would fight me again. And I had to wait to fight Foreman after that.
So you were too dangerous. You were pretty much too dangerous for your own good. I mean, yeah, you hit. Yeah, unfortunately, the stories throughout the sport like that. But when you fought Foreman, I mean, that's an amazing fight.
I was beating George the first couple rounds. George and I are good friends. I walked into a hell of a punch, and my own fault again. But I got up. They stopped that fight right away, boy. As soon as I stepped up, they stopped the fight. I was pissed off because I got up and I said, "Well, what are you doing?" "Oh, no, this is you shouldn't. No, can't continue."
Right.
I went nuts. But that's boxing,
But obviously, this is probably a dumb question, but what you did so much in the ring, you did so much on the silver screen. What is a tougher job? I mean, people would obviously say, well, obviously boxing's got to be the tougher job, but what would you say? Because having done it done it all. How hard?
Boxing, I enjoyed fighting. I kicked myself because God gave me a natural talent and I abused it. I didn't. I fought a kid. I was in San Diego and they took my license away because of so-called organized crime, which was a bullshit deal. But they called me on the phone. They said, "Would you fight Alvin Lewis in Detroit?" And I said, "Can I get a license?" And the guy said, "Absolutely." "You'll take the fight?" I said, "Absolutely." sent me a ticket.
Mm.
So I went up to Detroit, and Blue Rivers had fought Ali in Ireland
Yeah.
in a 13-round fight.
Mm.
And he came home and he beat Ernie Terrell and he beat a couple other guys. And they were looking to make another Ali fight with him. And but they figured if he got by me, it would give more credence to him getting an Ali fight. So I went to Detroit, and I beat this kid to death. I mean, I beat him really. But he was never the same. I broke his ribs. I broke his elbow. I punched the shit out of him.
Wow.
I stopped hitting him in the face after the ninth round.
You broke his elbow. That's amazing.
It was, I beat him up bad. He really made me mad, actually, the way. And we bet the fight, because I think I only got like $3,500 to fight him. And I had a friend of mine in Detroit who ran the streets of Detroit, and I said, I want you, Ronnie Harris, he was a lightweight champion.
Oh, yeah.
I said, bet every single round. He said, Jack, you're in Detroit. Blue Lewis's hometown. You realize what you're saying? I said, you bet every round. I'm going to beat this clown from pillar to post.
Wow.
And we won $96,000
Wow.
betting the fight. I only got paid $3,500 for the fight.
So you give him a bigger beating than Ali did.
I gave him a terrible beating.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Every time he ever heard my name, he hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in Vegas one time and he was there, and the guy said, Blue Rose is here. I said, well, I was going to say hello to him. He ran away. Ran out of the casino.
He was terrified. I don't blame him. I don't blame
The guy
him.
from Detroit said to me, he said, Jack, that poor bastard, he mentioned his name, he ducked under the dashboard.
Mm.
I laughed like hell. I said, oh my God.
One question I'd love to ask you, Jack, because you're a boxer and an actor. What would you say is the best boxing film ever?
So what?
The best boxing movie. What would you say? Because you've done the boxing, you've done the acting, you've done both. What would you say was the greatest boxing movie ever?
Oh, there's when Bobby De Niro did.
Yeah.
That's probably the best boxing picture I ever seen. But when I fought out Blue Lewis, I was going to tell you. Well, after I beat Blue Lewis, I went up to Ali's camp in Pennsylvania. And I said, what do you think? It's about time we got it on, champ. Yeah. And he said, yeah. He said, that's a great idea. He said, you just beat that kid in Detroit. I said, yeah. He said, if I give you a title shot, are you really going to try and beat me? I said, let me tell you what. For the very first time in my career, I will go away to camp like you do. And I will train 8 weeks like you do. And when you come in the ring, you better bring a gun. You're going to need it. And he said, 2 steaks, please.
Wow.
We were good friends. He was a hot shit. I love that.
Yeah, he's truly a legend, no doubt about it. Just briefly on the Superman movies, because they're my favourite. I'm from that. I don't want to. I'm 40 odd now, so. But I love those movies. I grew up with those movies, and Superman 2, truly great films. I mean, were they as great to make as they are to watch?
Oh, we had a ball making. Oh no, they were great.
Yeah.
Oh, they were.
You know.
That was a lot of fun. I think they were about. I think it was around a 10th film I did.
Yeah.
I was doing a movie down in Spain with Gene Hackman, a picture called March or Die.
Right, yeah.
Terence Hill, the Italian actor, Max von Sydow and Catherine Deneuve, and they flew us up to London to meet Richard Donner, the director.
Yeah, he just passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, unfortunately. What a super guy.
Really nice guy. Judging from what I'd seen.
He was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But they flew us up, we met him, Hackman and I both went up and saw him, and we chatted about the script, and I said, yeah, I said, he said, well, how do you feel about playing this guy like a mute? And I said, well, I'll tell you something. Jackie Gleason was a friend of mine, and he did a picture called Chigo, where he won an Oscar for playing a deaf, dumb mute. I said, if I ever got an opportunity, to play a character like that, I would embrace it. And I said, this is a great opportunity because you have Terrence Stamp as a vicious general, and Sarah was a man-eater, so somebody had to relate to the kids because it's a big child audience. So I said, I'm going to take this guy, this big brutish guy, and I'm going to play him like a child. You know, learning how to work his eyes, and it worked out really well.
Absolutely. Oh, the audience loved you. I can remember it. The audience, like you just said, they needed a character to identify with amongst those baddies. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you were brilliant. I mean, it was just. But I mean,
I remember the first Comic-Con that I did after we did Superman. People come up to me and you can actually talk.
Right? Yeah, they expected you. Yeah.
I said I must have done a pretty good job. You thought I was really good.
Yeah, it's funny how people. But you're there with Brando, and you're there with like you say Hackman and all those British actors. I don't know exactly how much you mingled with them and bounced off each other and stuff, but I guess
there were some great British actors in that film.
Yeah.
I mean, all those judges that said guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Trevor Howard there, and Harry Andrews.
Yeah.
There were some brilliant actors there.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot of fun. I spent a lot of time in London. I boxed over there, and I knew everybody. I knew every gangster in London. The Craigs were friends of mine.
Right.
Nashes were friends of mine. The Richardsons were friends of mine.
Wow.
I knew the lads up in Manchester who controlled all the auto cars and shit. Man, England was a lot of fun. England was a whole different place in those days, though.
Yeah.
Terry Downs was a character.
Oh,
he was the first middleweight champion ever out of England.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Terry was a character. He was a constant too.
Yeah.
He was in my corner, and now I fought Bugger. He was so mad, he almost threw the bucket at me.
Really?
Oh, he was living.
He knew you'd won that. He knew you'd won that. He knew you'd won that fight.
Well, he knew we won the fight, but it was supposed to be a 10-round fight, and Nicky Duff cut it to 8 rounds because Bugger wouldn't have lasted 10 rounds. He'd have fell down.
Right. That win would have been a knockout of Buckner would have been a big thing, I guess, at the time. Because
because they were building him up. They were really building Bugner up at that time.
Yeah. And as you know, he got 2 shots at Ali, didn't he? And
and that one of those shots was supposed to be mine. I was supposed to fight Ali in Australia, and Bugner got the fight.
Right. Jack, what's the movie you made you're most proud of?
Farewell, My Lovely.
Is that the one with Hackman?
With Robert Mitchum.
Oh, Mitchum.
The first movie I ever did.
The legendary Robert Mitchum. What was it like working with Robert Mitchum? Because he's just
he was brilliant.
Just a
legend. Was brilliant. Robert was wonderful. He became like a father. He helped me. He walked me right through the industry.
Really?
He became a mentor, and he was. Robert was brilliant.
Nice.